Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is me, Miss Aisha Manzoor, and you are watching my channel Chemistry Solutions. So today in this chemistry workshop, I am going to discuss some tips to attempt the paper and syllabus updates in 2023 in CII exams. So the purpose of this workshop is to guide students how to attempt CII chemistry paper. So I will discuss both the papers of O levels and IGCSE accordingly. Assessment overview for Cambridge O-level exams. Paper 1 with 40 MCQs with 30% weightage. This weightage is being increased in this paper. And paper 2 is theoretical based paper in which short answer and structured questions will be asked. So the time duration for this paper is 1 hour 45 minutes and the percentage weightage of this paper is 50%. So the paper 2 is being changed. Now there is no section 1 and section 2 in this paper. So practical paper, our students are appearing paper 4, that is alternative to practical. Time duration is 1 hour with 40 marks with the weightage of percentage is 20%. So this was the assessment overview for a Cambridge O-level examination. So assessment overview for IGCSE, core candidates take paper 1 and paper 3. The questions are based on core subject content only. So paper 1, paper 3 are accordingly with 30% and 50% weightage. But the students who are appearing in extended papers of IGCSE, they can score grade from A stars to onwards. So paper 2 is basically MCQ paper, multiple choice based questions. So 45 minutes for the duration of this paper with 30% weightage. And theoretical paper that is extended is 1 hour 15 minutes with 80 marks with weightage 50%. So paper 6 is the alternative to practical of 1 hour for 20% weightage. Assessment objective weighing in components basically for both the papers in your O-levels paper 1 and paper 2, here paper 1 and paper 2 for O-levels and paper 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6 for IGCSE exams. So AO1 basically the questions based assessment objective 1, knowledge with understanding. Whatever you have learned with definitions, with all the scientific concepts, you have to, basically it is the part which is related to your memorization and understanding. So 63 in paper 1, 63%, and in paper 2 you are going to get 63% of knowledge-based questions. So the tricky one questions with handling information and problem solving, AO2, assessment objective 2, you people are going to answer in paper 1 37% weightage and 37% weightage of paper 2. So basically 37% weightage of both paper, your MCQ paper and theoretical paper in O-levels and IGCSE. In both papers, you are going to get some of the questions which you have to handle the information given in the paper. So be careful to answer those questions. So it might be little tricky one and might be easy one. You have to put all the answers from the relevant data. So assessment objective 3 is experimental skills and investigation in both the papers. So paper 5 and paper 6, all rest of the 100% you are going to get the questions from the experiment-based questions and their investigation. So command words and their meanings this year in 2023 is being changed. So help candidates know what is expected from them in the exam. The table below includes command words used in the assessment for this syllabus. The use of the command word will relate to the subject context. So here are some of the command words. Define, state, list, explain, describe, discuss, outline, predict or deduce, comment, suggest, find, calculate, measure, determine, estimate, sketch and construct. So here what you have to answer, each and every command word have some certain specific meanings. So it is given in these slides. You people can pause the video and read all of the meanings of these command words. So the structure of the subject content has changed to ensure a coherent topic structure. So in 2023, the wording in the learning objectives have been updated to provide clarity to what depth each topic should be taught. Although the wording will look different in many places, the content to teach remains largely the same. Special note, units Significant figures in decimal places. Candidates answer by using bullet points rather than long paragraphs in order to better organize their thoughts. Candidates are advised to show all these steps in a calculation so that examiners can easily credit the working out of the answers. So, paper 1 advice, do not make any assumptions about the order of responses. Just because the last two answers have been D, it doesn't mean that the next one cannot be D as well. So, don't follow the sequence. Do not try to work out the answer in your head. Write on the question paper to help you understand and solve the problems. Read each question carefully. Instructions for solving questions. So, if you are going to attempt the structured based questions, so number of marks for question can give you an indication of the number of points you should make in your answer. It is important that you know what is meant by the scientific terms or phrases used in questions. Theory paper advice, state one. If you are going to get the question, like state one specific use of nickel other than it is used in alloy. So the word specific is important here. You will get no credit for nickel is used as a catalyst, because you must also identify the industrial reaction catalyzed. So hydrogenation, a nickel is used in hydrogenation of vegetable oil. You have to specify the use of the nickel. So suggest two possible consequences of an increase in global warming. Very frequently asked questions must answer correctly. The answer requires two effects of global warming: ice caps melting, sea level rising, but does not want an explanation of how or why global warming occurs. Just you have to suggest two possible consequences. So if you are going to get the question, describe how the boiling points of unbranched alkanes vary with the size of their molecules. So an answer like the boiling points depend on the size of the molecules is not good enough. It indicates the candidate knows size affects boiling point, but it does not state how changing size changes boiling point. So as the molecule get larger, the boiling point increase. Answer the questions. Answer the questions. Because number of carbon atom increases in the change. So due to this reason, you have to answer like this. So in question number 4, how do fertilizers increase crop yields? Vague answers simply state that fertilizers contain food for plants or similar, whereas a specific answer would note that the fertilizers contain. The specific answer you have to answer like that fertilizers contain nitrogen and link this to protein and growth. So if you are going to simply answer that it is good for the growth of plants, then it is not a good answer. So properly answer and specify your answer according to the question, that the fertilizers contain nitrogen and link this to protein and growth. The next question, explain why carbon monoxide must not be allowed to escape from the furnace, in the blast furnace, in the extraction of iron by using hematite ore. So carbon monoxide is toxic or poisonous is the answer, whereas pollutant, harmful, causing breathing difficulties are vague answers. So you have to just specify the answer of this question, that carbon monoxide is toxic or poisonous. Next question, explain why zinc chloride conducts electricity when molten, not when solid. In molten zinc chloride, the ions can move is 1 point and score 1 mark. The solid does not conduct because the ions cannot move is the other scoring point. It is common to find that candidates score the first mark but not the second. It's a very common error that examiners are saying in their examiner reports, that the students are using the word electrons instead of ions. So you are not going to get any credit for this answer. If you are going to write in ionic compounds, ions are responsible to conduct electricity, not the electrons. But if you are going to write the electron here in the ionic compound, there will be no answer. In metallic bonding, electrons are responsible to conduct electricity. In graphite is the only non-metal where electrons are responsible to conduct electricity. So remember this important point. Explain how the process of photosynthesis and respiration help regulate the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So carbon cycle is basically eliminated from your syllabus. So that was a question taken from your previous paper. Take of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere in photosynthesis, and in respiration, carbon dioxide is released to the atmosphere. So this is basically the carbon cycle, which is not a part of your exam now. The first question is about properties such as melting point, density, hardness of potassium has a low melting point and iron has high melting point, score 1 of the mark. The second question is about the chemical reactions of metals, and an answer such as potassium is very reactive and iron is not very reactive, or potassium reacts with water, or iron does not react with water, we gain the mark. We can talk about properties specific to transition metals as well. If we are going to get the differences between alkali metals and transition metals, then we have to answer accordingly. Write an equation for the complete combustion of methane. Write an equation in the exam means a simple equation. Balanced chemical equation will be there. It must contain the correct formula for the reactants and products and be balanced. While formula writing and balancing equations are skills acquired through practice, marks are often lost because candidates forget the non-metals made up of diatomic molecules. So always remember that O2, N2, H2, Cl2 always exist as diatomic form. So do not write them alone. Energy profile diagrams. Everyone kindly draw it by yourself and practice the where activation arrow of activation energy is placed and how to draw the enthalpy change. That is negative for the exothermic reactions. In exothermic reaction, products have less energy than reactants, and the progress of reaction is there and enthalpy changes here. So this is the energy profile diagram for exothermic reactions. Students do mistake. Most of the students have done these kind of mistakes in their papers. That activation, they are not going to draw the proper activation energy. From the reactants, activation energy starts. And products have more energy than reactants in endothermic reactions, and delta H is positive. Both arrows are in upward directions. Do not draw the double-sided arrows. In questions including equilibrium reactions, clear distinctions needs to be made between question involving rate and question involving extent and direction of the equilibrium. So you have to focus what question is going to be asked. It is rather than the position regarding the position of equilibrium or rate. Rate is basically speed. So increase in temperature should include the statement, more molecules have energy equal to the greater than activation energy. This is the new part which is introduced, and examiner wanted to get the answer. If you are going to talk about the rate, you have to answer. So memorize this line that more molecules have, by increasing the temperature, more molecules have energy equal to or greater than activation energy. So there, and the another point which you will write about the increasing of temperature, that the rate of reaction increased because there were more successful collisions. So very, very much important point. You people have to memorize this. So you have to memorize both of these bullet points. If the rate of reaction increases, you have to write these answers. So typical misconception include the weak covalent bonds or weak forces between atoms. Some candidates reverse the ester. Always remember that covalent bonds are very, very strong bond. Remember, the intermolecular forces between the molecules are weak. So covalent bonds are the strong bond. Some candidates reverse the ester coating butyl ethanoate rather than the ethyl butanoate. So always draw your esters clearly and according to their structures you have to draw it. Exam tip is draw the functional group of any organic compound first of all to make the correct structures. Okay. So sodium atom and chlorine atom, always remember metal and non-metal is going to form the ionic compounds. In ionic compounds, ions are involved. Electron transfer and charges are formed. So electrostatic force of attraction present in the ionic compounds, in oppositely charged ions. In covalent compounds, sharing of electrons are there between non-metals. The very important point is reflux. Reflux is not the separation technique. On the contrary, reflux allows you to boil a reaction mixture indefinitely without loss of solvent, reactant or product, as the vapors condenses in the condensing tube and trickle back down into the reaction vessel. Basically, this reflux technique is used that all the reactants must react together, come in contact and react together. If the boiling point of the substances is just above the room temperature, so vapors can be evaporated. The purpose of this condenser is to condense those vapors back into the flask to get the maximum reactions and to get the particles, to get the maximum contact of the particles with all of the reactants. So this is the purpose for the reflux condenser above the flask. Safety precautions always must be focused about that, like the use of fume hood is poisonous gas. Use of a fume hood or fume cupboard is used for the poisonous gas when it is going to form. Specific terms for the observations: do not write gas will be evolved, not a correct answer. Use the word gas given off instead of evolved. Coulomb theory and kinetic particle theory, you have to must clarify both of them. What basically Coulomb theory is and what basically in kinetic particle theory. Kinetic particle theory says that particles are at constant random motion, so you have to answer accordingly. Discharge and liberate are basically the word which you can use in your exams. So this is a very important part now here of this lesson. Changes to syllabus content for 2023 and 2024 till 2045. Changes to syllabus content: subject content removed from the syllabus. Fractional in O levels, fractional distillation of air, recycling of metals, ozone layer, carbon cycle, desalination, carbohydrates and fats, polymer hydrolysis. And the subject content which is being added: flame test, cooling curve, plastics, thermophthalene as an indicator. Subject content removed from the IGCSE exam: Brownian motion, carbon cycle, carbohydrates, hydrolysis of carbohydrates and proteins, radioactive isotopes as energy source, soil acidity, sulfur sources and uses of sulfur dioxide, silver salts in photography, extraction of zinc, production of electrical energy from simple cells. Subject content added: IGCSE 0620, chemistry of the environment, cooling curve, hydrogen oxygen fuel cells, oxidation numbers. How to calculate oxidation number is included now in this year. Plastics and thermophthalene as an indicator. So the changes in syllabus content: basically section B optional questions have been removed from the paper 2 theory and replaced with short answered questions. So the number of marks for paper 2 has increased from 75 to 80 for both O levels and IGC exam. So the duration of paper 2 for the O level exams has increased from 1 hour 30 minutes to 1 hour 45 minutes, whereas IGCSE paper is of 1 hour 15 marks. So the number of marks for paper 4 has decreased from 60 to 40 for both the papers IGCSE and O levels. The structure of paper 4 has changed to be alignment with paper 3. Both paper 3 and paper 4 will contain 6-mark planning questions. So always remember that you have to plan a proper experiment. That experiment can be from salt preparation, that planning from chromatography, that planning from distillation, that planning from the rate of reaction, that planning from your increase or decrease in temperature. It can be exothermic, endothermic reactions. So all of the experiment skills are given in your syllabus. So go through your syllabus carefully to get all the understanding and points which you have covered up till now. Strategies to reduce effect of environmental issues. These are the updated syllabus part. It is the part of the syllabus now that the raising animals on farms for food production takes a tremendous toll on the health of the environment. Animal agriculture is a contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, including nitrous oxide and methane, water pollution, and the destruction of forests and other wild areas that help to regulate the planet's atmosphere. So this is a part which is being introduced now. It is a part of your syllabus in this syllabus from 2023 to 2025. The another changes in syllabus and addition are: the state and explain strategies to reduce the effect of these environmental issues limited to climate change, planting trees, reduction in livestock farming, decreasing use of fossil fuels, increasing use of hydrogen and renewable energy. Example given: wind, solar. Acid rain, use of catalytic converter in vehicles, reducing emission of sulfur dioxide by using low sulfur fuels, and flue gas desulfurization with calcium oxide. So we can use some of the remedies to improve to reduce the effect of the environmental issues like acid rain and like the production of so many flue gases in the atmosphere. Photo means light chemical reactions. Photochemical reactions describe the substitution reaction of alkanes with chlorine as photochemical reaction with ultraviolet light providing the activation energy, and draw the structural and displayed formula of the products limited to mono substitution. So you have to know how to write the substitution reaction of alkanes in the presence of sunlight. So in syllabus updates, we can find that the fermentation of aqueous glucose at 25 to 35 degrees centigrade. So they have specified the temperature now in the syllabus from 25 to 35 degrees centigrade. In some of the notes, some of the books, we have read that till 37 degrees centigrade or 40 degrees centigrade, enzymes are becoming denatured. So that now the temperature is given is 25 to 35 degrees centigrade in the presence of yeast and in the absence of oxygen. Catalytic addition of steam in ethene at 300 degrees centigrade and 6000 kilopascal or 60 atmospheric pressure in the presence of acid, that is the concentrated phosphoric acid, which is used as catalyst. The full name for PET, polyethylene, is not required. Polyethylene tetraphthalate is not required. Basically, PET is the pterylene. State that PET can be converted back into monomers and repolymerized. So this is the type of plastic which can be repolymerized. Calculate the relative atomic mass of an element from the relative masses and abundance of its isotopes. This question will come definitely in your exam because all the questions are included in your exams. So you have to learn how to calculate the atomic mass from their abundance. So another thing which is being added in your syllabus, that is you have to calculate the enthalpy change from the given data of bond energies by bond breaking and bond making. I hope so that you people have learned so many things in this lesson, and best of luck for your exams. So everyone learn all of these topics and points. Keep syllabus along with you when you people are going to study. So this is end of this lesson. I hope so that you people have learned it well. Try to focus on all of these points. So best of luck for your exams. Consistency is the key of success. So signing off, Miss Aisha Manzoor.